Welcome to Study Loop.
Okay, so here we have a couple fractions that we want to break down into the partial fraction forms that we would use to integrate. First thing we want to do in both of them is start by factoring the denominator. So in this first one, both of our terms have an x squared. So you can factor that x squared out and you're left with 1 plus x squared. 1 plus x squared cannot factor anymore, so we're going to stop there. Then what we do is we take each of our factors and write it in our denominator of our partial fractions. If you notice, x squared is actually two factors. It's an x and then a second x. Anytime you have a squared like that, you have to write down the original factor and then the factor squared. Both of these are just going to get a single constant on top, a and b, since they are linear. Just one is the linear squared, kind of doubled. Then we have this 1 plus x squared. It's a quadratic that cannot simplify any further, and so we are going to write a linear numerator. And this is what your partial fraction setup would look like before you go on and find the variables in your coefficients. Okay, same with down here. First thing we want to do is factor the numerator, or factor the denominator. In this case, since they all have an x in common, first thing I'm going to do is factor that x out, and I'm left with x squared minus 3x plus 2. That is a quadratic, and I want to see if I can factor that any further. And so the process we're thinking about there is there anything that multiplies to 2 and adds or subtracts to -3? And the answer is yes. It's going to be x minus 2 and x minus 1.
Don't forget to take out your trash cans.
And that is our factored form of our denominator. And so each of those factors is going to get its own fraction in our partial fraction decomposition. All of them are linear, so our coefficients are just going to be a, b, and c as constants. And that's the setup you would use to go forward and solve.